How does a massive oak tree become handcrafted wooden barrels worth thousands of dollars? The answer is an incredible journey spanning thousands of miles, from giant logging machinery and cutting-edge 3D laser scanning technology to the age-old art of fire-bending wood, preserved for hundreds of years by Burgundy craftsmen. It's all packed into this extraordinary journey. Come explore it right now with RaWMachines. Everything began on a winter morning in the northern forests of Washington state. In the bitter cold, where every movement seemed frozen in place, the Komatsu 931 harvester slowly rolled in. This machine can replace the work that once required an entire crew of loggers. But it doesn't just cut down trees. It determines exactly which trees should be harvested, measures each trunk's diameter down to the centimeter, calculates the optimal log lengths, and cuts the tree into precisely measured sections, all within seconds. What's even more astonishing is that the entire process is completed before the tree even hits the ground. But felling the tree is only the first step. A log lying deep in the forest is still completely useless unless there's a way to transport it out. A few minutes later, another machine appears in the distance. It carries no cutting head. It doesn't roar with the same raw power. Yet, without it, the entire logging operation would nearly grind to a halt. This is the forwarder. Using its rear cargo bunk, it loads the logs one by one before beginning the journey across rugged terrain toward the log yard near the port. From here, the scale of the journey begins to shift. The machines deep in the forest give way to equipment purpose-built for the world of maritime transportation. At the log yard, thousands of cubic meters of timber are neatly stacked, waiting for the next stage of their journey. A log loader, equipped with a boom stretching dozens of meters, continuously pivots across the port. Each time its massive steel grapple closes, it lifts dozens of logs high off the ground. Every movement is powerful yet remarkably precise, maximizing cargo space while keeping the vessel properly balanced. Layer by layer, the ship's cargo hold fills with timber. Once the final load is secured, the mooring lines are released and the vessel slowly departs the port. Unlike the quiet forest left behind, the open ocean is always unpredictable. Some days, the sea is as calm as a giant mirror, but within just a few hours, everything can change. Heavy rain, strong winds, towering waves crashing relentlessly against the ship's hull. In northern waters, the crew must also navigate through drifting ice and frozen sea lanes, where every nautical mile demands absolute caution. Even so, the ship presses on, because at the other end of the journey, an entire mill is waiting for this raw material. After many days at sea, the destination port finally comes into view. One by one, the logs are unloaded. Heavy-duty trucks quickly take over, beginning the final leg of the journey along the mountain roads of Idaho to IFG Grangeville. This marks the last stage of the transportation process. The logs that once stood deep in a winter forest are now about to enter a modern manufacturing facility, where they will be transformed into high-quality wood products used around the world. IFG Grangeville is one of the largest and most advanced lumber mills in the state of Idaho, USA. With an annual production capacity of up to 250 million board feet of lumber, the mill specializes in processing premium softwood species, such as Douglas fir and white fir, producing high-quality construction materials for both domestic and international markets. The very first step timber undergoes upon arriving at the mill is debarking. The logs pass through a massive rotating drum to strip away the rough outer bark. This isn't just about cleaning the raw material. Removing the dirt, sand, and debris clinging to the trunk also protects the saw blades from wear and tear, extending equipment lifespan and improving precision in downstream operations. This is where precision truly takes center stage. Before a log ever touches a saw blade, it is scanned using a 3D laser scanning system. The computer analyzes each log's curvature, diameter, and shape to determine the optimal cutting pattern, maximizing lumber recovery while minimizing waste. Once the optimization process is complete, the log is transferred onto an automated infeed system and fed into the primary sawing line. Here, high-speed circular saws and massive band saws work together continuously to cut the log into lumber of precisely programmed dimensions. The entire process is almost fully automated, with the logs moving through the production line at remarkably high speeds. After primary breakdown, the boards are fed into an edger to square off the edges perfectly. Right after that, the lumber runs through a trimmer, a system with a row of multiple saw blades. These blades automatically drop down to cut out defects and bad knots, or trim long boards into standard lengths like 8, 10, or 12 feet. At this point, the lumber can move along the conveyor belt at speeds reaching hundreds of feet per minute. Once sawn, undried wood is referred to as green lumber. It travels through an automated sorting system, stretching hundreds of feet long, where sensors scan the dimensions to drop the lumber into separate bins. Yet, the human touch remains irreplaceable. Quality inspectors stand along the line, using a keen eye and years of experience to flip each board, marking the slightest defects that machinery might miss. Once sorting is complete, the lumber is stacked into large packs. Small wooden spacers, known as stickers, are inserted between each layer to create gaps, allowing hot airflow to circulate evenly throughout the entire pack. These packs are loaded into giant industrial dry kilns by Hyster forklifts. Inside, the temperature, humidity, and airflow velocity are continuously managed by computer systems for several days, letting moisture evaporate gradually without causing the wood to split or warp. When the process is complete, the wood's moisture content drops below 19%, the standard for the construction industry. This critical step minimizes shrinkage and warping, ensuring the product remains structurally stable over time. Leaving the kiln, the lumber enters one of the busiest areas of the mill, the high-speed planer line. Planer knives spinning at thousands of revolutions per minute quickly remove the rough outer surface, revealing the wood's natural grain and producing a smooth, clean finish. At the same time, all four sides of each board are precision machined to the S4S, surfaced four sides, standard, ensuring every piece meets its final specified dimensions. Throughout the process, a powerful industrial dust collection system operates continuously, capturing wood shavings and sawdust to keep the work environment clean, safe, and efficient. Once every processing stage is complete, robotic stackers and automated handling systems neatly arrange the boards into uniform, precisely aligned bundles. Each bundle is then wrapped in a white poly wrap, protecting the lumber from UV exposure, rain, and dirt during storage and long-distance transportation. Every package is finished with the Idaho Forest Group logo, serving as a mark of quality before the product leaves the mill. In the logistics area, forklifts continuously move wooden crates to the shipping yard, ready to be loaded onto flatbed trucks or rail cars. From Grangeville, they are distributed across North America and to various international markets. Beyond their use as construction materials, a portion of this wood is crafted by skilled artisans into wooden casks to age fine wines and whiskeys. In France's Burgundy region, where winemaking is elevated to an art form, the oak barrel crafting process at Tonnellerie de Mercure represents the perfect harmony of time-honored craftsmanship and precise industrial standards. It all begins with carefully selected French oak staves, left outdoors to season in the sun and wind for at least 2 years to strip away harsh, bitter tannins.
Because he's taking staves off.
The painstaking craftsmanship is evident right from the start, as the cooper must fit staves of varying sizes into a tight, seamless circle, a task requiring an extraordinary eye and a deep intuition for the material. Once roughly shaped, a steel cable is used to cinch the bottom of the staves tight. The cooper then uses a hammer to knock temporary hoops into place, locking in half of the barrel's silhouette. Next comes the toasting process. Braziers of glowing coals are placed inside the heart of the barrel, combined with a mist of water. The intense heat softens the lignin fibers within the wood, making them pliable. The cooper then gradually tightens the hoops until the staves close together completely, forming the barrel's iconic, rounded belly. Once the barrel takes shape, fire is used once again to char or toast its interior. Depending on the custom order, the barrels are toasted to varying degrees. This process does more than just alter the color of the wood's surface. It triggers chemical reactions that unlock rich notes of vanilla, toasted bread, or subtle smoke. The intensity of the flame directly dictates how heavily the wood will influence the wine's final flavor profile. Once cooled, the barrel shell is fed into a planer to smooth the outer surface and bevel both ends. A precise groove known as the crows is meticulously carved into the inner rim at each end. This is where the barrel heads will fit into place. At the same time, the bunghole is precisely drilled into the widest stave.
You're gonna put the circle tighter and tighter.
The barrel heads are assembled from flat oak boards using one of two traditional methods: tongue and groove joinery or wooden dowels combined with natural reed leaves to create a watertight seal.
That was dowel plus what grows just outside in a.
Once assembled, a laser cutter or specialized cutting machine shapes each barrel head into a perfect circle, ensuring an exact fit with the barrel body.
You want to see here?
Before fitting the head into the crows, the cooper applies a paste made of sawdust and water to ensure a perfectly airtight seal. Using specialized lever tools, the head is worked into place and the first permanent iron hoops, head hoops, are hammered tight to lock the entire structure together.
That's up. Basically what we do is that we put around 10 to 20 liters of water.
Every single barrel is a commitment to quality. The cooper pours about 20 liters of hot water inside and applies compressed air pressure. They roll the barrel to allow the water to thoroughly coat all the seams. Only if no air bubbles escape is the barrel certified to be 100% leak-proof.
Air pressure. So this is a airlock. And we've got 4 hooks that we've seen there, and we're just polishing.
Finally, the barrel is sanded once more to remove any stray marks, fitted with its full set of polished iron hoops, and lightly coated with a protective sealant along the edges.
Is checking for any. We do what we're asked. Traditionally, this part we put a little bit of varnish.
The Tonnellerie de Mercure brand is stamped onto the head as a seal of origin and Burgundian craftsmanship, ready to begin its journey alongside the finest wines. In a world dominated by assembly lines and machinery, there are still corners of the workshop where time seems to stand still. Here, oak barrels are not merely produced, they are born from calloused hands, precise axe strokes, and the intense heat of an open flame. The process begins with a dialogue with the wood. Each stave is shaped not by computer algorithms, but through the keen eye and generational experience of the artisan. Once the edges are straight, the cooper switches to a draw knife. With a rhythmic rhythm, wood shavings as thin as ribbons are peeled away, shaping the gentle curve of both the inner and outer surfaces of the stave. This step demands an exceptionally fine touch to ensure a uniform stave thickness from end to end, giving the barrel body balanced strength to withstand the immense liquid pressure from within. Next, the master cooper carefully stands each stave upright inside a single temporary steel hoop at the top. In the traditional cooper's trade, this partially assembled shape is known as the rose. A brazier of glowing embers is then placed inside the barrel, while water is sprinkled over the oak. The heat and steam soften the wood's lignin, making the staves flexible enough to bend without cracking. A steel cable is then tightened around the bottom of the barrel, gradually drawing the staves together into their precise curved shape under the cooper's careful control. Once the joints are fully closed, temporary steel hoops are quickly driven into place to secure the structure. The sharp, rhythmic blows of the hammer echo through the workshop, a powerful reminder of human craftsmanship shaping nature with skill and determination. The oak barrel has now taken on its classic form, strong and perfectly balanced, ready to begin a journey that may last for generations. Once successfully bent, the barrel is repeatedly flipped over a glowing fire basket. Capitalizing on the wood's peak pliability, the cooper drives full force into every hammer blow, forcing the iron hoops deeper down. Under the intense heat and pressure, the boundaries between the staves gradually fade away. They press tightly against one another, forming a seamless, unified structure without the need for any adhesive. The process culminates as the barrel's rounded frame is completely locked into place. Smoke mingles with the rich aroma of toasted oak to create an enchanting scene. From a collection of loose staves, the barrel is now complete, ready to cradle and nurture the finest wines. Once the barrel body has fully stabilized, the cooper uses an ancient yet remarkably precise tool known as a crow's. By rotating the tool around the rim of the barrel, a uniform groove is carefully cut into the inside edge of the staves. This groove serves as the locking channel for the barrel heads, ensuring a perfectly tight, leak-proof fit once they are installed. Finally, the cooper meticulously bevels the rim and smooths the barrel's opening with a hand plane. The result is a barrel that is not only structurally sound, but also refined down to its smallest details. While the barrel body rests to allow its structure to settle, the artisan sets to work crafting the barrel heads. Hand-selected oak boards are joined side by side using hand-driven wooden dowels, completely free of glue or chemicals, to ensure a pure aging environment for the wine. Once the boards form a solid panel, the craftsman uses a giant wooden compass to trace a circle matching the exact dimensions of the barrel's crows. Because every barrel carries subtle variations, each head must be custom-made for an absolute airtight fit. Before sawing, the craftsman uses an axe to adze away excess wood, shaping the blank and allowing for greater cutting precision. When it comes to cutting the head with a bow saw, the task relies entirely on the artisan's strength and finesse. The blade glides along the traced line, carving a smooth, sweeping curve into the dense oak. The sound of the saw mixing with falling sawdust creates a signature rhythm of craft, culminating in a perfectly round barrel head ready to be fitted to the body. After completing the round barrel head, the artisan begins the beveling process. Using a sharp draw knife, he meticulously shaves down the edges of the head on both sides at an angle, creating a bevel that fits perfectly into the groove inside the barrel body. This is one of the most dramatic moments in the entire coopering process. To install the barrel head, the cooper first loosens the temporary steel hoops around the top of the barrel. The staves relax slightly, creating just enough space for the barrel head to slip into the crows. With a series of gentle yet precise hammer taps around the rim, the cooper carefully adjusts the head until its entire circumference seats perfectly into the groove. The steel hoops are then driven tightly back into place, forcing the staves to clamp securely around the barrel head and transforming a collection of individual oak pieces into a perfectly sealed vessel. Now, the cooper sets aside his chisels to become a true blacksmith. He begins forging the permanent iron hoops, the protective armor, built to safeguard the barrel for centuries to come. Each iron strip is measured to fit the precise dimensions of the barrel body, then cut and shaped over an anvil. Instead of welding, the artisan uses traditional hand riveting techniques, locking both ends of the strip into an unyielding, solid hoop. The final step is replacing the temporary hoops with the permanent steel hoops that have just been forged. As each hoop is driven into place, it exerts tremendous compressive force, locking dozens of oak staves into a single, perfectly sealed structure. The sharp ring of the hammer marks the completion of the process, permanently securing a handcrafted masterpiece built to endure for generations. In the world of wine, if small barrique barrels are where wine begins its journey of maturation, then giant vats, known as foudres, are the great time machines, holding the very soul of the most prestigious cellars. The process of crafting these colossal masterpieces at top French cooperages like Arable and Taransaude is an epic saga of perseverance and timeless vision. The project's greatest challenge lies in the sheer scale of materials and internal pressure. A single foudre can hold anywhere from 5,000 to over 20,000 liters of liquid. This means the wooden structure must withstand immense outward pressure from within. Consequently, the French oak used must come from ancient trees that have achieved ideal structural stability. Bending wooden walls, several inches thick, demands not only the coordinated muscle power of dozens of artisans, but also a deep understanding of the biochemical reactions of wood under the influence of fire and water. Every vat produced is a commitment to durability meant to endure for decades, or even centuries. The crowning achievement of modern large vat coopering is the creation of the ovum, an egg-shaped vat developed by Terran Sword. It represents a true revolution where centuries-old craftsmanship meets mathematics and 3D technology. Designed around the golden ratio, the aesthetic principle of the universe, the ovum is not merely a sculptural masterpiece, but a vessel of extraordinary functionality. Its egg shape allows the wine lees to circulate continuously through natural thermal convection, enabling the wine to be bathed in its own nutrients without any mechanical intervention. Completing these wooden fortresses requires the hands of meilleurs ouvriers de France, the master craftsmen of France, from glue-free joinery and riveting iron hoops weighing hundreds of pounds to hand-sanding wooden surfaces spanning dozens of square meters. Every single detail is executed with absolute reverence for the material. When these giant vats finally leave the workshop to enter ancient wine cellars, they carry with them the pride of a heritage craft. Standing tall and imposing, these giants do more than just age wine. They are treasures that guarantee the prestige and quality of fine wines, quietly transforming time into flavor and oak into legend. So, you've just traveled through a long journey, a journey that began in the snow-covered forests of Northern America, where trees grew in silence for decades, even centuries. From the moment they were selected and harvested by modern machinery, they navigated treacherous forest roads, bustling ports, and vast oceans to reach processing facilities. Here, every single log was debarked, scanned with 3D lasers, sawn, dried, planed, and packaged by automated production lines with near-perfect precision. But the journey didn't stop there. From those finished lumber products, we followed the wood to world-renowned cooperages in France and the United States, where the world of machinery gradually gave way to traditional craftsmanship. There, oak staves were bent over open flames, assembled without a single drop of glue, and guided through dozens of meticulous steps to become barrels capable of aging fine wines and premium whiskeys for decades to come. What's fascinating is that throughout this entire journey, technology and humans were never on opposing sides. Machinery delivered speed, productivity, and calculations accurate down to the millimeter. Meanwhile, humans remained irreplaceable through experience, dexterity, and a nuanced intuition that no algorithm could ever fully replicate. It is precisely this synergy that maximizes the value of every tree, minimizes waste, and creates products of the highest quality. Looking back from beginning to end, we realize this isn't just a story about the timber industry. It's a story of connection between nature, science, engineering, and human hands. A tree that once stood quietly in a forest can now become the material for sustainable architecture. A barrel safeguarding the flavor of world-class spirits, or simply an everyday product serving millions of lives. Perhaps that is what gives wood its special value. That value comes not just from the material itself, but from the time granted by nature, the ingenuity of humans, and the dedication poured into every step of the process. After everything we've just witnessed, hopefully the next time you see a piece of lumber or an oak barrel, you won't just see a finished product, but remember the long journey of effort, creativity, and passion that brought it to life. Thank you so much for joining me all the way to the end of this video. If you found this content interesting, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share so I have more motivation to bring you even more fascinating journeys in the next videos. Thank you, and see you next time.